Hello and welcome to Parenting on the Go. I'm Sheena Monnin, and we are lucky to have a group of graduating seniors with us today for this special edition of Parenting on the Go. We have Garrett, Taylor, Dylan, and Arisha, who recently sat down with members of West Bloomfield Youth Assistance to offer feedback and advice to parents with tweens and teenagers. Welcome everyone and congratulations on your recent graduation. It's really a delight to have all of you with us here today to share some insights from your unique perspectives. Dylan, let's go ahead and get started with you. What would you like to share with parents who are viewing about your own experiences?
I think the most important thing is parenting style. So the authoritative parenting style is what has been researched to be the best parenting style, in that parents will set rules and commitments that students are to meet, but they know when to bend those rules and they're not too strict with them, which allows students to become more balanced people, and it allows them to face the consequences of their actions, but also having a support system. Another thing we like to recommend is that parents shouldn't focus more on having more interactions with their children, but on the quality of those interactions, because that's how we build the best strength of character in each of our students.
That makes sense to me, definitely, to invest in your child with a good quality communication. But what about the relationship between the parents themselves? That can be a little tricky sometimes. And how does that influence the children who may be living at home?
So yeah, we say the most important things for parents to really think about when they're parenting is that they should present a united front and they should communicate well with their student. We understand that parents are different. You know, one parent might be better at listening, one might give better advice. But no matter what, whether married or divorced, they need to set clear expectations for their students. Another important area is disagreement. We understand that parents disagree, but defining where those disagreements occur and how they occur is really important for the child's relationship with those parents. We rather stuff like that happen in private because it allows them to still be an approachable source for students to go to, so they don't feel alienated from the parents and they have an overall better relationship.
That's definitely true. I think it's important to remember, if anyone is a parent, that the vibe that you put out really does impact the children who are at home. That's great insight. Thank you. Something parents can definitely learn to work towards. Let's talk a little bit about freedom versus guidance and perhaps maintaining some balance there. Taylor, can you give us a little bit about your thoughts on that topic?
Yeah, well, definitely. As a student or any young person, making friends is such a huge piece of life. And, you know, sometimes as a parent, they have a lot of voice, as they should, but I also think that if you can recognize as a parent when to give your child that space, and in terms of making relationships, that's one of those areas. And when it comes to growing up and being in the workforce, you have to be able to make certain judgment calls about who you interact with and just what decisions are being made. And I think that as a parent, you know, if you can know when to give your opinion and, you know, say that maybe I recognize an unhealthy relationship or scenario, then you can have a good relationship with your student and also help them have good relationships outside of the household. And overall, I feel that those trial and error experiences are what make you successful.
That's really great advice, Taylor, and I feel it's something that we can all consider as we move through life, no matter what age that we are. Now, Garrett, what else can parents do to help their kids on this topic?
I think parents can understand that success is different from person to person. Each person's version of success is defined by themselves. There's not only one path to success, there are multiple. And I think most importantly on this path, each person needs to figure out how to make themselves happy. Because when they're happy and they're passionate about what they're doing, it's much easier for them to be able to find that path of success and be successful in what they're doing, because if they're not happy, it's going to be much harder for them to do their job.
Most assuredly, yes, and sometimes it can be difficult to figure out what we are passionate about long term instead of just in the here and now. But what can parents do, Arisha, to help kids find their niche and discover that long-term passion?
Yeah, in terms of finding a niche, I think it's really important that the company you surround yourself with motivates you, inspires you, and supports you. But on top of that, I think it's really important that students find a non-academic passion, whether it be through the community, sports, or art, that can serve as stress relief or a hobby outside of the academic realm. So, for example, like just taking a pickup game of basketball, or delving yourself into the theater program. You can also make sure that you instill confidence within your child so that when they're dipping their toes in the water, they are supported, that they're encouraged to try new things. And while they're trying new things, you can be a friend and a parent to them by encouraging them, but also being there to be their #1 fan. And on top of that, I think it's a give and take. Students need to understand that parents do have off days. We also have off days, but complimenting each other's moods, complimenting each other's outlook on life is really important. With a culmination of all those things, students can definitely find their niche in a very successful way.
Absolutely, and I feel like that whole answer you just gave sort of ties into what to expect when we enter the workplace, right? Because you won't always be complimenting each other's moods easily. You're going to have to put some effort into that, definitely. Well, I feel like it kind of takes us full circle back to where we started, which was discussing that life balance between parents and their kids. And I feel like we touched on some really important things today, such as clear communication, setting those clear expectations, and also being flexible. I want to thank you all very much for your insight and some of those words of advice that you gave us today. And I'm excited about your futures and looking forward to possibly having you back on the show in the future. Thank you all very much. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Parenting on the Go. And remember, if you'd like to look up more helpful parenting tips, then go check out West Bloomfield Youth Assistance's website at wbyouthassistance.org. Take care.